Eve paints.
Hey folks, welcome to another 3D printing Patreon preview. I have 200 Patreon campaigns to share with you today, and I also have another Kickstarter campaign of my own that I'll mention. Just a single model of a paladin with the concept art done by my daughter. Comes with a sword or a glaive, or as a mini bust. Sign up to get yours today. Before we start, a quick content warning. Some of these campaigns contain pinup style models. I've left a link in the description to a video discussing why that needs a content warning. First up, Nether Miniatures is working on a set of undead aquatic minis for January. Iconic Minis has a new lumberjack, a warehouse, accessories, and an Eye of the Beholder. Here's a Knight of Death from Miniatures by Ace. This is the Princess of Wishes, Hope, from Homunculus Creations. JG Sculpts has 3 Minotaurs and a Skelly Minotaur. Rotten Key Miniatures has a set of 4 water spirits this week. Here is a teaser of the kobolds that channel patron Sculptor's Cave is working on. 2 Moronic Miniatures has a bunch of demons and angry 4-armed apes. Stormcrow has a 1st edition Darrow and a set of Infernal Spawn from Magic the Gathering. Speedy Scorpion has almost completed this little set of Swarmers. Here are work in progress shots of the January minis from Realm of Paths. These are the Priestess and the Cosmic Wanderer from the Surreal Factory. KLT Studio has new snipers, zombies, and more. This is Brurg, the Frost Giant, from Miniatures Blueprint. Blue Wyvern has a set of ice elementals. The Archvale Ruins are the January release from Runic Collectibles. The latest model from Vinci Miniatures is this Ogre Rat with optional blade fists. 3DS of Sam has a Necromancer and a Snowman for Christmas. La Louve 3D has new Bulls and Minotaurs this month. Polygrim has a set of torture devices with victims and torturers to go with. Admiral Apocalypse has a new set of Necropolis bases this month. Your Neighbor Knight Minis has new archers, swordsmen, and a painter. Dottie Dungeon and Dintorni is working on new homes for Silver Lake. Hollow Miniatures has a set of 6 Stag Riders for January. Blastcool has 4 new horned beasts for you. This is the Gestalt Hexen Avatar from Star Pharaoh Foundry. Arcanum Workshop has a new Mother of Demons model, as well as 4 of her children. Niverdale Tabletop has new Purifier troops with Electro Staffs. Celia Miniatures has a few more ninjas before moving on to zombies and survivors for February. Gangfight Games has some Old West minis and heavy weapons for them. Savant 3D has a large set of underground cave terrain pieces this month. Here's a random assortment of sci-fi miniatures from Random Miniatures. Ratman Forge has finished up the first run of their Sisters of Jim army. Sculpt Tuner has a new Paladin of Light model. Colossal Miniatures has a new set of modern-day survivors and a new set of stone golems. Mecha Miniatures has an Orky Santa Claus, as well as a Squig-pulled sleigh. Labradorite Wolf is working on a naked mole rat. New books for your shelf and a chess mimic from August McDaniel. TPK Lab has 6 new heroes this month, as well as 11 new monsters, including a young Chaos Dragon. Combat Octopus has 6 new African militants this month. New models and loyalty rewards from Claudio Cassini Art include 1 sci-fi guy, and the rest are all fantasy figures. Away Team Red from channel patron Lost Heresy has a new comms officer, Lieutenant Nichols. Valkyrie's Playground has new mechs, new Egyptian-themed marines, and a drop pod to get them where you need them. Extra Guy has a new Arachnid class of mech, as well as several smaller assault drones. Red Nebular has new Forest Goblin Shamans, as well as 3 Zillards. Here's more pre-launch goodies and previews from Dragon's Forge Miniatures. The Lilanian Industrial Complex has a new Flying Attack Transport and a new long tank as well. Magori Miniatures has Flagellants, Modular Militia, and Goatling Infantry for January. The Realm of Shadows, Grimlock Lair, is the January release from Nova Minis. These 3 Minotaurs are new minis from Beast Mode Miniatures. Here's a new model of Hermes and some decorated bases by Max and Raw. Lion Tower Miniatures has a Necromancer and a Cult of Followers. Zandoria Studios has 3 Napoleonic miniatures this week. This is Bandits of the Rising Scorpion from Red Clay Collectibles. Warblade Studio has 5 new Star Wars looking spacecraft this month. Meet the Dragon Herald from Kraken's Vault. This is Lorna D, the first Tempest Runner from Studio DR. Laser Forge Miniatures has a new battle tank, along with several different variations of it. Two Gargoyle Studio has new Griffin Knights, a new self-propelled gun, and some bits for their previous sets. Maddox Historical has British troops suitable for the American War of Independence. "3D Hexes" has a scenery set intended for the Ogre tribes, with great cauldrons, huge barrels, chests, tents, a throne, and more. The Final Deathmatch is the theme for Print and Paint Miniatures' epic January release. Here are 3 fantastic Desert Sorceresses, the first release from Crosslances for January. Legend Builds has a character named Yamane the Last, as well as 3 Knights Cult Rioters. New multi-part models from Heroes and Beasts include a Dragonkin for the Beast and a Fairy for the Hero. Vault Z has new props and scatter terrain, as well as a pregnant woman and 2 children for NPCs. How many can you keep alive? Here is the completed set of December minis from Village's Hope Miniatures. Legion Miniatures has 6 new Marvel superheroes, as well as their first 5 from DC. Naga Minis has a new villain, the Sun Bear, with her buffalo servants, as well as mouse summoners and a snack wizard with a little library. Labyrinth Models has a Dark Elf pack, including a Spider Priestess, Talon Champion, Zealots, Guards, Knights, and more. Here's a work-in-progress Scarlet Terror, coming from Hive Delta. Dragon's Lake Miniatures has Dwarven Steamcopters, Seekers, and Cannons. Role-Playing Miniatures has a Pegasus Unicorn, Armored Griffin, Magma Golem, Female Ogre, and more. From Creature Armory, here are the Mars Queen and a Steampunk Goblin bust. Tiny Furniture Digital is working on a little bedroom set for January. Albino Raven Miniatures has a Hazardous Biolab set with lots of minis to go with it, as well as a woman on a heavily armed motorcycle. Sable Badger has small log barriers for the battlefield, and larger, more secure tilestone ramparts. House Barteth has modular pit-fighting ogres and an Agent of the Machines. These are Pestilence Chariots, available this month from Varus Miniatures. Dragon Workshop has a 2-story house with all the furnishings needed to go inside. Greenskin Miniatures has an orc warband with chariots, heroes, trolls, wyvern mounts, and more. Warp Miniatures has multi-part kobolds for January. Baliak Miniatures is working on the Ironscarn Warhorde for January. Crucible of Games has new Eggersite terrain, mutant militia tanks, human 2-pie soldiers, and more. Here is a look at the female gangers Across the Realms is working on. Ilhadiel has 3 new squads of multi-part Bork warriors, elites, and archers. They Came from the Stars is the title of the January release from Void Realm Minis. Doses 3D has a new bust of Batgirl, a bust and a figure of Jinx, and more. Fantasy Cult Miniatures has a collection of zombies, skelly warriors, and a vampire lord. Here's a preview of what Pop Minis is working on for January. Imitation of Life Miniatures has 6 post-apocalypse mutants, madmen, and miscreants. From Galad Miniatures, here are some goblins and trolls, along with a couple slayers to help you get rid of them. Here is the completed set of Bunny Brigands from Goonmaster Games, with a bit of old ruined towers for them to hide out in. Aether Studios is working on a spaceship. Mini Rat Studio has 10mm dwarves and birdmen this month. Here is part 1 of the Lure team of Dark Elves from Mythbowl RN Studio. These are the Bone Mage's Synod from Drunk Magos Cellar. From Imperatum Art, this is the Warlock and the Flame Salamander Battle Tank. Here is a look at the completed December pack from channel patron The Dork Factory, as well as a peek at what they're working on for January. Drunken Dwarf has 6 members of the Steam City Guard this week. Claybeast Creation is releasing the Dead Hounds this January. Kurzluck Miniatures has direwolves, giant bats, hill ogres, and more. This is Dr. Balthazar Morris and his army of living corpses from Fleshcraft Studio. Turn-Based Miniatures has an Eastern European militia, a buggy, and scenario miniatures. Here is all the models that Capsule Chibi put out in December. Code 2 has houses from Drenheim, modest, suburbs, and fancy. Wake's Emporium has an army of small-scale beastmen this month. Hell Creator has new statues and busts of Aloy and Gerald of Rivia. Tiger Skull RPG has new previews up for their King's Order Knights Part 2. Black Crag Miniatures has 6 new Mutant Special Forces this month. Here are the last of the Christmas minis from Epic's and Stuff's Miniatures, as well as some Owl Knights, Butchers, Bakers, and Injured Soldiers. The Draconian Devotees is the January release from Flesh of Gods Miniatures. Here are work-in-progress shots of the latest Battle Nuns from Rage's Creations. This is 2 of apparently 11 G16 Nat mechs from Polygon Masterworks. This is Starfire from Dinamu 3D. Rubim has new models of Vex from League of Legends and Kiki from Genshin Impact. Raven Twin Miniatures has Skeleton Warriors, Tomb Reapers, a Raven Swarm, and more. These are Space Miners and 20mm X-Army Wastelanders from Big Mr. Tom. Surrogate Miniatures has Augustus Speciators for vehicles and Cletus the Immovable for a hero this month. Print Your Monsters has 2 sets, In the Clutches of Terror and The Wrath of Gloommire Part 2. Here's a work-in-progress mini coming from Knucklebones this month. Fresh orcs from Blue Sky Minis include a Mech Boss, Hunta Boys, and a Hurt Doctor. Trident Studios has 3 new superheroes and 1 new supervillain. Maddox has multi-part Tauntauns and Riders, including a certain Farm Boy and Nerf Herder. Manuel Boria has a new Hobgoblin Ranger and a Bugbear Berserker, as well as some work-in-progress shots of baby monsters. From Highcraft Miniatures, here are 6 new skellies of the Fuse clan, with a few bits of terrain to go with. This is Aran 3, Minoan Protectorate, a sci-fi city by Sacris Mundus. Titan Troll Miniatures have finished up their Monty Python and the Holy Grail set, as well as a few busts for December. Here are all the models Dice Heads released in December, as well as a peek at some undersea fun coming in February. Kyoshi Neko Miniatures has some sci-fi dwarven miners, as well as a Mizuchi Dragon and ninjas. Bright Minis has a monk, a cleric, and a pig-faced orc, as well as a few Christmas-themed minis. Ronin Arts Workshop has a Heroes Night Out diorama, a half-scale tavern with full-scale coming in the future, and more. New models from Schlossbauer include a barbarian cat, Kraid, Innsmouth citizens, and more. .3DXM has new Quake and Baraka Chibis, and a Spider-Man symbiote mini. New terrain from Sarli Factory includes majestic ruins and basaltic volcanoes. Diwali Games has a sneak peek of their Snake Riders and Snake Lord optionally mounted. Black Remnant has a squad of Black Sun Pirates, Bach and his Mogukai Shadow Warriors, Kylo Ren, and more. Twin Goddess Miniatures has a set of clubbers, gangers, and spies, as well as some 80s style low poly models. Duncan Shadow has dire rats, rat swarms, monopose and multi-part lemur folk, and a couple little sets of goblins. These are the White Ravens of Norok, a warband of dwarves from Daybreak Miniatures. Caballero Miniatures has a small warband of Yusef ibn Tashfin with a peek at his Black Guard coming next month. This is the Alliance of the Unicorn, mercenaries fighting off the Black March Orcs from Signum Workshop. Chibi STL has a Black Ranger, Rick Grimes, and Han Solo locked in Carbonite. Edge Miniatures has a Sky Raider set with 13 bodies, 16 sets of wings, 17 weapons, and more. New models from Rocket Pig Games include a Centaur Death Knight, a Dragon Chaser, an Angel Dragon, and more. Station Forge has a new gunship, tinkers, and scrappers for the Scavengers Army. Dark Realms has a lightning rail from Eberron with 7 different cars. Soul Forge Studio has new Martian Mechanic Heavy Escorts, a Destroyer of Planetary Bodies, and edgy Space Elf escorts. Print Minis has a nice set of Space Station astronauts, deck crew, ships, and more. New models from Prey Collection Studio include the Tick, Zeratul from StarCraft, and Elisa Maza from Gargoyles. DM Stash has 5 new beasts, the Flayers, as well as 6 of the Goliath tribe that fear them. Masterwork Tools is working on building foundation walls, stairs, and columns. Here is the full set of mercenaries and young magicians from Vevictus Miniatures, with some ruins for them to play in. Crippled God Foundry has a great clan of dwarves, the Stoneheart clan, preparing for mountain war. All of the females even have bearded options. Here is a cockatrice and a basilisk from Yasashi Kyojin Studio. These creatures from behind the veil are the creation of Printed Obsession for January, and here's a couple goblins for the future. Seb Miniatures has the Emperor himself with a suitable array of royal guards protecting him, as well as a Twi'lek and her Jawa buddies coming soon. Here's an ancient deep dragon with a little band of myconid friends from Comet Lord Miniatures, as well as other large myconids, fungal zombies, and more. Punga Miniatures has a second set of the Hungry Piranhas team of halfling pirates, this time with tree man allies made from pirate ships. Here are the latest work-in-progress shots from 3D Art Digital. Three new squads of mounted knights from Last Sword Miniatures this month, as well as a new warlord and an ancient. Lots of new buggies and more coming from Gear Guts Mech Shop this month. Here's the rest of channel patron Great Grimoire's macabre dance of tales and sabers, as well as a sneak peek at the centaurs coming for January. Gamescape 3D has a small ruined village with cobblestone streets, stone walls, and destroyed buildings. Mia K has a set of scatter terrain and a set of characters and creatures titled Frostbite Valley. Here's a Lion Rider, Beast Rider, and Goksagu Berserkers from Cobra Mode. These are the Golden Sun Syndicate and the Spice Cartel fighting over some book, as well as other characters and squads by Skullforge Studio. Asgard Rising has a small army of bandits, both mounted and on foot, also available on square bases. Three new sets from Atlan Forge, including Ocean Warrior Guards, and Asgardian Commander, and Knights Templar Purgators. Here is a figure and a bust of Dragonslayer Ornstein by Fotis Mint, as well as a Diablo bust. STL Miniatures has warriors, wounded townsfolk, and battlefield medics to patch them up. Play Cyanide Miniatures has the Kingdom of Felinaria this month, with Lancers, Kitty Cannoneers, Panther Warriors, and more. Channel patron Papsicels has 4 new remixed models this month, as well as a peek at Fran 9 Team, an assault squad of genetically engineered aliens. Unit 9 has 5 cyborgs, Bruiser, Belligerent, and a couple Sleepless City citizens. The January preview from RN Studio includes 10 peasants and traders, and 10 Witcher-related heroes and adversaries. Empires of the Eastern Suns is the January pack from Heroes Infinite, with Onis, Ninjas, Kirins, Dragons, Kitsune, and more. Here are the first 2 chunky humans of 5 planned from Bite the Bullet this month. Avatars of War has 2 new barbarian models with their favorite kitties, as well as a shaman and a witch doctor. Lost Kingdom is expanding their range of arboreal Mori elves with dancers, owlbear riders, a fey portal, and more. Here is a sneak peek at the Jungle Fighters Anvil Digital Forge is working on for January. Forest Dragon has light cavalry and dragon riders for their small-scale despoilers army, as well as a wood elf archmage. This month from Broken Anvil, the Celestial War, Angelic Wrath, Archangels, Archknights, and more. Next month, expect Demonic Vengeance. .3D Art Guy's Grim Dark Character Pack for January includes a Rage Demon and a Knight in several poses, including a diorama with him killing a Trickster Demon. New models from Highland Miniatures include new Inquisitorial Retinue, Saint Helena and her Cathedral, and a couple Ogre Warriors. Gomek has a couple tanks and lots of soldiers for their Sci-fi release, and their fantasy release includes a Star Lion, Lion Cavalry, and more. Here's a peek at the Pirate and Adventurers that One Gold Piece is working on for January. This month, from the Dragon Trapper's Lodge, we get the Lodge of the Wasted, with Mad Max-inspired mutants, monsters, vehicles, and more. The January release from Puppets War Miniatures pits Orc Gunners against Prime Riders of the Norse Squadron. Here's a sneak peek at the Lords of Kaldin, coming in January from Bestiarum Miniatures. The Verdant Hideout from Cast and Play includes bandits, warbeasts, wyverns, floor and wall tiles for the hideout, and more. Treasures of Old from Mini Monster Mayhem includes Forest Dragons, Vile Steel Dragons, Gold Dragons, Dragonborn Berserkers, and more. Cyberforge Miniatures are releasing Raw Power as their January set, including a collection of female warriors, cyber angels, mech pilots, and more. Here is the rest of Epic Miniatures' Elven Grace set, featuring fairy dragons, high elves, and more, as well as their Barbarian Winter set, with dragons, giants, barbarians, berserkers, and more. New models from the Maker's Cult include a new Battle Tank, Hive Assembler, 6 and 2-legged walkers, Black Knights, Dark Elves, and 2 fancy new Grav vehicles. Lord of the Print is unleashing the Great Tide, with eel drakes, hydras, several walking shark monsters, a pale dragon, one little shark doggo, and more. New models from MZ4250 includes 31 Appendix A animals, with mules, dogs, ponies, and horses, all with optional saddles, spiders, birds, snakes, bears, and more, with 8 different swarms and 8 patron requests as well. One Page Rules has new models for their Beastmen and Eternal Dynasties armies, with matching terrain and bases, as well as new Nomads fleet models. The Ursid Empire from Titan Forge Miniatures includes a Queen, Undead Ice Giant and Bear, smaller bears and riders, multi-part Hussars and Warriors, 3 new Titans of Adventure, and more. Tome of Demons Volume 2 from Arch-Villain Games includes Orcus and his Seneschal Adromal, as well as all sorts of demon wraiths, bane demons, bloodhorn riders, and more. And finally, the Blood Hunt from Artisan Guild includes Blood Hunt Knights, Bat Riders, male and female heroes, with the lady having an optional Evil Owl mount, some ruined cemetery terrain, and more. That's all for now. Huge thanks to all my supporters on Patreon, especially my newest top-level patron, Great Grimoire. Check out their Patreon campaign for amazing sculpts that range from fantasy to macabre, sometimes with just a bit of sci-fi. Sorry this video was a little late. The next Kickstarter countdown should be out on Wednesday. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the videos, and thanks for watching.